Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The ISUPK, under Commanding General Yahana, presents the Lord's 57th Annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th Annual Passover, April 4th, 2026, in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person, ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under Commanding General Yahana. See you there, Israel. Shalom.
Nobody else there to compare to. Train for war, men of war, and warlike apparel. Prefer our leaders, can't get between us. Watch where you stepping.
Shalom. This is to all Israelite groups and all Israelite communities and all breakoffs from One West and breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs. No matter what rainbow uniform you wear, red, white, purple and white, all white, it don't matter. You should all treat the ISUPK like your weird, misunderstood Sabbaths. You shouldn't do anything until you counsel with the ISUPK. We'll tell you when and what to eat. We'll tell you who to marry. We'll tell you who to have sex with and how. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your wives. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your parents, your friends, everybody. We'll tell you when and how to pray. We'll tell you how to direct your life in a way that's pleasing to the Most High God of Israel and our Black King Yahushua, a.k.a. Jesus Christ. We will be to you instead of a God. Just like the Most High told Moses in Exodus 4:16 that Aaron would be to him instead of a mouth and he would be to Aaron instead of a God, that's what we'll do for you. It is what you all need because none of you know what the fuck you are doing. I pray you understand. Shalom.
All right, Shalom, Israel. Shalom, Yahweh, Shem, Yahushua, Barakathum to all the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh, Shemalatham, Ba'ashem, Yahushua to all the sisters. We're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yahana. It's the Friday night Lashawan Qadash class. Let's go ahead and clap it up. I'm right. I mean, this the Lashawan Qadash class where we teach the Bible from a linguistics perspective. I mean, if you notice, any of the debates, like it's real good. If it's real good to watch Captain Tazariak's debates. Captain Tazariak, Captain Katazar, Gadawan, Cap Yatazak. Any debate that you see coming from the ISUPK, revolving around the Bible, any debate that you see that we have, any question that's asked and answered from General Muhammad, Commander General Yahana, or whoever, any of the captains, any of the generals, it's good to watch and carefully analyze those debates. Because if you notice, the difference between understanding the Bible or what these debates come down to is semantics. And if you could, Priest, look up the word semantics. I'm gonna see if I can put it on the screen as well. But this is what the debates end up coming down to. Like these other denominations of Christianity and these other belief systems and all of that, these other religions, they come down to it ends up coming down to semantics. Go ahead, read that, Baba Kasha.
Semantic is the linguistic study of all meanings in words, phrases, and sentence, exploring how meaning is conveyed and understood.
So that's what it comes down to. Semantics. What the branch of I'll read what I got here. The branch of linguistics and logic concerned with meaning. So basically, what Christians, Catholics, Muslims, Egyptologists, chematologists, and whatever religion that you want to bring up, their confusion is with what words mean. That's their confusion. It's because you learn from a people that don't use words the same way that you do. That's where you learn from. So that's why when you read the Old Testament and you see words like God, that's one of the main confusions, right? You see the word God, which is Allah, or Allahayim, which is the plural of God, which is like the subservient plural of gods. The word just means messenger, authority, power, the water, and I'm missing one more. Messenger, angel. That's what that word means in the Hebrew. But in the Greek, there's no distinction between those words. Like, if you want to translate the word Allahayim from Greek or from Hebrew to Greek, there's no distinction. There's one word for God. And I had it earlier. It slipped my mind. But there's one word. So whether you're talking about messenger, power, authority, or angel, it's going to be one word. So in the scripture where it says I think it's Salaki. Where it says in the Christ thought it not robbery to be equal with God. That's what it says. You able to find that for me? But when you see things like that, when you see things like what's in Galatians 3:28, where it says, neither Jew nor Greek, neither bond nor free, neither male nor female, but all are one in Christ Jesus. When you see those things like that, when you see Gentiles, the word Gentiles, that's another big one. When you see words like that, when you debate whether Christ was God, it comes down to a semantics battle. Please, yeah, go ahead, read that when you got it. Or, yeah, go ahead, read it. That don't sound correct, though. You can read it. That don't sound like what I'm...
Who being in the form of God?
Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
The book of Philippians chapter 2, verse 6. Who being in the form of God thought it not robbery to be equal with God.
So when you see God in the scriptures, especially in the New Testament, you automatically assume that means the Most High. And you're going to get into it. You're going to no doubt get into a semantics battle, because to say the Most High God, okay, first of all, let me start here. Most people think that God, when you say God, that's the Most High's name. We in the ISUPK say the Most High because there is a hierarchy. There's a Most High power, and then there's powers that are subservient to him. So when we say Most High, we're acknowledging him as the Most High, and then there are powers that are under him, and then there are powers that are under. There's a hierarchy, like where is it? Where it says I think it's in 2 Timothy, where it says The Most High is above Christ. Christ is above man. Man is above women. There's a hierarchy. So when we say the Most High, we're acknowledging the Most High power, whose name is Yahweh, as the Most High. Right? And so, like, you read that again. Like,
Khan, the book of Philippians, chapter 2, verse 6. You want me to read? I can read. Obviously, Khan, who, being in the form of God, thought it is not robbery to be equal with God.
Right. So when we see those words, especially when the Christian church sees those words, when they see the word God, they just automatically think that means God, like the Most High. But when you see the word God, that could be translated to a power, authority, angel, or it's like the last one, angel, power, authority, or messenger. But in the Greek, because our culture was taken over, we were in a different captivity by the time the New Testament came around. But the Greek doesn't have a distinction. Hey, shalom, Yahaba Shem Yashar Barakatah. I see Officer Ma'aishia, I mean, out of Cincinnati. I mean, if you got any questions, and you or anybody else, if y'all got any questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the chat. I mean, this class is for y'all questions. So if y'all got any questions, then you could put them in the chat or raise your hand if you're in the class, and then we'll answer all your questions regarding the Hebrew. I mean, so please, I mean, if you or anybody else in your zone or anything like that got any questions, please put them in the chat. I mean, so that we can do our jobs. But this is, long story short, this is why the Christian church, or any Christian trying to come out of the Christian church, because the Christian church gonna speak for itself. I mean, like the scriptures say, no good tree could bear evil fruit, and vice versa. No evil tree can bear good fruit. So the Christian church right now, the Catholic Church, the Muslim mosque, the Egyptologists, the fake Israelite groups, the Christian Israelite groups, they are speaking for themselves. They speaking for themselves by the fruit that they bear. So they're gonna speak for themselves. They're gonna speak for themselves. But I mean, if you're trying to find out the truth, I mean, you find out that your Christian church is full of liars. You find out that your Christian church is evil. You find out that your Muslim mosque and your Catholic church, you find out that your Kemet or whatever they call themselves, your Kemet or Egyptologists are evil. I mean, you need to find a place to be able to go to be able to get answers. And that's what we're here for. You know what I mean? So yeah, ask your questions, put your comments in the chat, and we'll answer all your questions and solve all your problems. All right. But the reason why, the biggest reason why your Christian church, you trying to find your way out of the Christian church because you found out that your Christian pastor is a liar. He's a PDF file. He's a sexual deviant. He's a ICE agent. You find out that your Catholic priest is a liar, ICE agent. He's a sexual deviant. You find out that Kemet is full of sexual deviants, like what's his name? Malachi York, and what's his understudy? Oh buddy. I forgot his name. It'll come to me later. But I mean, you find out that Kemet is full of all the sexual deviants, that the same sexual deviants that the Christian church is full of, the same sexual deviants that the Catholic church is full of. I mean, Polite, that's his name. I mean, you go into the Kemet and Egyptology where they say woman is God, and I mean, we gods, and the I mean, we the Egyptians is gods and all of that. And then you find out that pioneers, the faces and the pioneers of Kemet and Egyptology are all sexual deviants. And then you move the Africa, you move to Africa and try to integrate with their culture, just like you tried to integrate with American culture, and you were rejected by African culture, just like you was rejected by American culture. You find out all of these things, you know what I mean? And you can't, you know what I mean, you have a hard time, you know what I mean, you have a hard time getting to the bottom of things. You know what I mean? It all comes down to semantics. You know what I mean? Long story short, it all comes down to semantics, where you just don't know what words mean because you were taught by the Christian church. You were taught by sexual deviants. You were taught by liars. You were taught by, PDF files. You were taught by all these you know what I mean, you were taught by liars, long story short. But here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, you're going to learn the truth according to the Bible. You're going to learn what words mean. You're going to learn, just like, you know what I mean, your oppressor tries to learn Ebonics. So, like, you had your hand up, or you?
Come on.
Okay, please, go ahead.
You on it. I don't want to interrupt you.
No, please, go ahead. No, you got it.
It's like, man, like you're right. That semantics is that was destroying our people. That's what's keeping our people into Christianity. Because you the word semantic, use them semantics of certain words they wanna to keep their doctrine alive. You know what I mean? It's like you use the semantics for one word, right? There's another saying words in a different area using a different way, but you're gonna use semantics to prove your point in a different scripture, saying, like, look right here. They say that all men gotta get salvation. I mean, over here, and then say, well, only Israel will get salvation. Mm-hmm. Then you like, so what is it? Is it all men, or is it Israel getting salvation? Right. Now but you gonna use semantics to prove your point, to stay on your doctrine. That look, we need to concentrate on the all men. Right. Because right here it say all men, regardless of where they say all Israel got salvation. It's like you.
Now, what you said was so heavy because, and that's the point. Israel is always named by name. It always says Israel. James, I believe, James 1:1. Romans, what is it? 4 in the first couple verses. Romans 9. It's one of the two, either Romans 9 or Romans 4. But both of them actually, you know what I mean? Like, it named all over the Bible. It always names Israel by name. Old Testament, New Testament, and Apocrypha. It names Israel by name. There's no ambiguity with who the Lord came for. Like it says in Matthew, I am not sent but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. These are the words of Christ. You know what I mean? Like it says in Matthew 1, where it says Christ will save his people. You know what I mean? It's all over the Bible where there's no ambiguity for who the Most High is talking about. It says Israel by name, but you know that your Christian pastors, your Catholic priests, your Muslim imams, your Kemet and Egyptologists and all of that, you know that they're absolute liars because they have to depend on wordplay. They have to play with semantics. You know what I mean? But it's all there. You know what I mean? And that's what this class is about. That's what this class is at its foundation. It's for you to learn the Lashawan Qadash, or the holy tongue of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Holy just means separate. So the separate language of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because even whether you speak English or Spanish or Patois or Creole or, what's the other Spanish one? Portuguese, Salakia. Whether you speak all of these languages, we have a different way of speaking all of these languages. And they call it Ebonics. They call it slang. They call it, they got a new acronym for, this is new. We wasn't using this back in, when I was a little younger, Salakia. Well, they wasn't using AAVE. You You know what I mean? That's a new thing. But point is, every language that we speak that was given to us by our oppressor, we have a different way of speaking it. And it all comes from the Hebrew. So with that being said, your oppressor tried to translate Hebrew and they get, you go to Genesis, what was it, the second or third chapter when it introduces the serpent in the garden. They read there was a serpent in the garden and they draw the picture and they like, oh, it was a snake. It was a gardener snake in the garden talking to Adam and Eve. And for whatever reason, I'll let you guess the reason. But for whatever reason, Adam and Eve was butt naked, and there was a gardener snake in the garden talking to Adam and Eve, who was butt naked, talking about an apple. Please.
So I guess shit, I'm just imagining. Shit, if I walk in here and see if a dog talking to me, shit, I'm like, what the crap? I'm not sitting there trying to hold a conversation with a dog talking like me.
Yeah.
So you talking about a serpent, a snake? He's talking to you, having a conversation with you.
God.
Like, what? You gonna stand? You gonna stand there and be there and have a conversation, or you gonna haul your ass? You gonna haul ass and get by your business?
Right. No, real talk. And on top of that, I'm not about to let no talking dog or talking snake give me instruction. You know what I mean? Like, not only, first of all, you shouldn't be talking. And second of all, I'm not about to let you give me instruction. Like, oh, you live in your life and you live in, because Adam and Eve, they was in the midst of the garden. They were protected. They was, as a matter of fact, and I kind of want to get down here because this is heavy too. Because this is right to the point. You mind rotating the camera and we gonna get to the bottom of this. All right. And this is just to further prove that your oppressor don't know the Bible. Your oppressor, they're not equipped to know the Bible. So like, let me see if I can find grab a. Yeah. Oh, Most High Christ. The water. But this is how you know that your oppressor don't know the Bible. They don't know the Bible. They don't know our language. They don't know our culture. Because these words that we use are built off of other words. You know what I mean? And like I said before, we use words completely different. The water. You could just spray you spray that one, and then if you could give me a dry one. No, I'm gonna leave it because I'm gonna use it for. No, you just spray it and then just leave it here, and I'll take care of it. The water, and then if I get it, yeah. But this is how you know, like, if you needed any other confirmation, because any other language that we use, or any language that we use, we speak it completely different. You know what I mean? Like I said before. But if you didn't have, you know what I mean, if that didn't let you know that you're separate from your oppressor, then I give you this as well. All right? Let me get this. And I might need your help as well. Okay, no sweat. But this right here, hold on, let's slack it. Let me close this real quick. Let me put this on full screen. Shalom, sister. How you doing? I need you to go ahead to the scripture where it talks about, or look up gun in the Bible dictionary, if you could. Yeah, gun. Ga na. Right. And while you're doing that, right? Because this is important as well. Let me adjust the screen. But it's very important for brothers. No, Salakia, the concordance, Salakia. I said Bible dictionary. That was my bad. Yeah, that's the one. And in the back, there's a Hebrew dictionary, and then you follow it just like you do a dictionary. So you look for the Ga section, and then you look for Ga Na, right? Which brings me to the Lashawan Qadash alphabet. If you want to learn the Hebrew, if you want to learn what words mean, if you want to be able to follow concordance codes and things like that, the first step is to learn the alphabet, or the Lashawan Qadash alphabet. That's the first thing you want to learn. So these are the characters right here up top. We keep them on the wall so that everybody can see them. You can take a picture of it. Uh, I believe we have a printout somewhere, or you can just Google it. You can just look up Lashawan Qadash alphabet. Uh, Lashawan Qadash alphabet, ISUPK. And it's on the internet. But if you in class, you can just take a picture, or you can ask for a printout, or whatever the case is. But that's the first part. That's the first part that you want to learn, because if you don't know the Lashawan Qadash alphabet, if you don't know the Lashawan Qadash alphabet, then you're gonna have a hard time extending your knowledge from there. So you got, and then this is the ancient Hebrew, like you'll see up top, says the ancient Hebrew language. These are the ancient Hebrew pictographs. So all of the characters that you see up top and how they look, these are the pictographs that represent each character in the Lashawan Qadash. And then down here, these are the Assyrian Hebrew. This is the Assyrian Hebrew language. And each of these characters represent the Assyrian version when we were taken into Assyrian captivity, and we had to assimilate our language to our oppressor's language. You know what I mean? But it's the same characters. You got Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Ka, Ta, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, I, Pa, Taza, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Ta. And these characters down here, of course, before we go any further, the Lashawan Qadash, or the Hebrew language, is read from left, or it's like it's read from right to left. So it's read from here to here. It's read like this. It's read from right to left. Now your oppressor, they read from left to right. That's how they read. So when we're learning this new language, Slakia, we'll say, or we'll think that, oh, we learning it backwards. Like, okay, we read this way, the Lashawan Qadash is read backwards. That's what we'll want to say. But what you got to understand, the spirit behind it is, this is the way the Lord wanted us to read. This is the way the Lord wanted us to write our language. Your oppressor reads backwards. They read backwards. This is what the Lord established. He established this language. He established for us to read from right to left. Your oppressor reads backwards. So what we got to do is unlearn. What we got to do is unlearn what our oppressor taught us, and relearn what, what the Most High taught us from the beginning, since the garden. You found that yet? Gun. Just, yeah. Ga and Na. Or let me see if I can find it for you. So it should be maybe his, my gun. Give me the concordance code first. Mm-hmm. H1588. And what does that mean?
It mean it's like it mean a garden.
It means what?
A garden.
Garden.
A garden.
Garden. Gun.
Mhm.
Garden. You know what I mean? The Most High been teaching us since the garden. And where were we in the garden? Or what was the first introduction of the garden? What's Go ahead.
Like in Eden.
Con. The
Oh,
Garden
in
of
Eden.
Eden. Right? So gun means garden. Right? Now, if you could look up Hagun. Con. Hagun. Now, first of all, let me see. Or while you looking up that, find that for me, Baba Kasha. And then when you trying to learn the Hebrew, aside from the Lashawan Qadash alphabet, so we already established the Lashawan Qadash alphabet. So that's where you want to start. So you want to start Abagada Hawaza Khata Yaka Lamanasa I Pataza Kwa Rashata. And you want to write it down, take a picture, or whatever you got to do so that you can memorize it. Because this is how we're going to get our oppressor's language out of our mouths. You know what I mean? Your oppressor stole you. You were stolen. And when you were stolen, you were taught before you were stolen, you had another language. Before your oppressor came over here and stole the land from the Native Americans, they spoke a different language. Before your oppressor came and, you know, ransacked South America and what we know as Texas and California and Arizona and where our Hispanic brothers and sisters were living before, now, you know what I mean, where they're trying to mass deport our brothers and sisters. Before we became American, before we became Mexicans, before we became Guatemalans, before we became Native Americans, before we became African Americans, we spoke the Hebrew. So, and that's a huge part of why we're going through hell right now. You know what I mean? Because we are not following our culture. We're not following our culture. We're following our oppressor's culture. You know what I mean? We're speaking English. We're speaking Spanish. We're speaking French. We're speaking Portuguese. We're speaking all these different languages that don't belong to us. And what they had to beat out of us was this. They had to beat the Hebrew out of us. So by us coming to this class, by us learning the Hebrew, by us starting over and learning Abagada Hawaza Khata Yaka Lamanasai, we're taking back our culture. And we're getting rid of all the lies and all the oppression that our oppressor taught us. That's the whole point of this. You know what I mean? So that's why it's so important for us to hone in on our language and our culture. And we start with this. You got something for me? Okay, no sweat. What you got? It looks like Cha. You're in the Cha section. Yeah, you're in the Cha section. Abagada Hawaza Cha Taya. So you need to go a little bit forward. So Abagada Ha. Ha is before Ha. And while we on that topic, This is why I exaggerate the ha sound so much, because sometimes we get ha, just like ha is a softer sound. Ha and ha. And sometimes we get ha, and ka mixed up. These are very separate sounds. Now, when we talk a little, we talk a little loose. You know what I mean? Like we're not like our oppressor. We not like our oppressor. Like your oppressor, like sticklers for their language, even though their language is stolen from so many other languages. They don't even understand their language very well. But those sounds are very particular. So when you want to when you're first learning the Lashawan Qadash, you want to make sure you're very deliberate in pronouncing each of these characters. So ha, like ha, ha, and ka. You want to just make sure you differentiate between those sounds. You got something for me? Gone. What we got? Where you at? Gone. Ha, abagada. So it's gonna be before. So it's gonna be somewhere. Ga, ha, aba, ga. You got no. That's a da. Abaga da hawaza. Salakia. Oh, you might have been in there. Haga. Hag Salakia.
That's all I see.
Okay, I think we ran into this. Oh, here we go. No, wait, that's not. Uh, oh, Salakia. Haga. Abba. Abagada hawaza. Atayak. Salakia. And I'm. Yeah, you right in the ballpark. Salakia, I'm reading this upside down. So, do you got a blue letter lookup on your phone, or two letter lookup? Salakia, two letter lookup on your phone. Yeah, you can look up. Yeah, yeah, two letter lookup, and it'll give you the. Just look up the word for protect. Let me see if I can find it as well. But the word for gun is garden. Ha is a preposition, like we talked about, I believe last week or 2 weeks ago. The preposition ha means the garden. What the concord? Oh, go ahead. Yeah, you got it. Mhm. Oh, go ahead. Oh, you wanna? Oh, go ahead. Yeah, do your thing. Yeah, please.
The ha is right here. You're looking for this symbol right here. Maybe the first symbol you will see first, right? Then you say gum. You live for God. Okay, so you be the second symbol you see. And then Ma. You be the M
Nah.
on the Ma. Right?
Nah.
Nah.
Con.
It's like a nah. So you're looking for nah. So N8, nah. You're looking for it would be this symbol where you would find it.
Con.
So more like a step. You have to look at it. So that's how you use it. Yeah, what you mean, sir? You gotta,
Look up the word. Just look up protect or look up protect. That's the word we're looking for. And this is how words are built. This is how words are built. Like the Hebrew language is very practical and very straightforward. But I just wanted to, show this real quick. You know what I mean? So gun means garden. Gun means the garden. You know what I mean? Which shows you that your Christian church don't know the Bible. Because they look at the Garden of Eden as if it was just like a place like they look at the Garden of Eden like, it was a place where it was just some magical place that we'll never see ever again, ever. What you got a concordance code? To defend,
to protect.
Uh,
Like to stand up for someone, to back up someone, to defend someone. So I don't have let me see if I got a accordance. No.
What you said was absolutely correct, and
Right.
that was the point. That's the point right there. Her gun, because like we just looked up a second ago, gun means garden. Ha as a preposition means the. So her gun means the garden. Or what you just say?
So like to defend or to protect.
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 So when we were in the Garden of Eden, we were under the protection of the Most High.
Right.
That's what that means. Her gun means protection, to protect, or the garden. You know what I mean? And then when the serpent came to deceive Eve into deceiving Adam, that serpent or that sneaky person, that, that deceptive person, he came to take away the protection of the Most High from the children of Israel. And that's the state that we're in right now, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's why we're susceptible to be stolen from our homes by ICE agents. That's why we're susceptible to police brutality and violence. That's why we're susceptible to having our land stolen or being sold into captivity. Because by listening to these other nations, we were removed from the protection of the Most High, thereby being removed from the Garden of Eden. You know what I mean? That's all the Garden of Eden was. It was just a protection of the Most High. And because we didn't listen to the Most High, you got a precept for that, right? Wisdom and understanding in the, what is that, Deuteronomy 4:6?
Oh yeah, 4:6. My wisdom. Yeah.
Or actually, the most straightforward one is Deuteronomy 28. That's the most straightforward. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and verse 1.
4 and 6.
God.
28.
And that's all that happened. What you see in Genesis, Genesis 3rd chapter?
Mm-hmm.
What you see in Genesis the 3rd chapter is Deuteronomy 28 playing out. Go ahead, read that when you got it.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1.
So we talking about protection, because this is what Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are crying out for. As like what you seeing in Minneapolis, or what is it, Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
Minneapolis? What you're seeing in Minneapolis, those blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, even your oppressor, all they crying out for is protection. All we're crying out for is protection. You know what I mean? Every Hispanic brother and sister that had to close their businesses down, you know what I mean, right next door. You know what I mean? Every brother, you know what I mean, the brothers and sisters in Chicago that got pulled out of their homes and was zip tied and put in the back of budget rental vans. All they wanted was protection. You know what I mean? Sandra Bland, Sonia Massey in Dallas, when she called the police and she was an older sister, and she felt like her life was in danger. She felt unprotected. All she wanted was protection. So she called the police. She called law enforcement. What's their slogan?
Come to serve and protect.
And to what?
Protect.
I don't know if I'm mistaken, but I believe their slogan is to serve and protect. Our people, you know, I mean, even ICE agents, you see their uniforms, they're not police officers. They're not law enforcement. Their authority begins and ends at immigration and customs. But they wear police on their vests. They act as if they have authority over, you know, they act as if they're law enforcement. You know what I mean? So brothers and sisters that are being persecuted by ICE, they're just looking for protection. And the police claim to serve and protect. You know what I mean? But this is where our protection ended. Go ahead.
It's like my mate. Like,
please.
It's like, that's crazy. Happy with you saying that because they put me serve and protect. So like, you know what I mean? And they say they're immigrants. Like, where in the like I want to say they say they believe in Christ. They believe in the Most High. You know, God is with America, right? And God we trust. But you sending these people, you grabbing these unaliving these people, taking their kids away. Like, where is? And you say, and you always say we should love. Like the American always say that we should love. Like they always give us on ISUPK. Like y'all speak of hate. I never speak of love. Like, yeah, we speak of love of our own people. But y'all all talking about we need to speak of love. But all the time we see in the world, all the time we see in the streets, we see nothing but hate. Like that's the hypocrisy, and that's a hypocrite. That's a hypocrite. That's what you were saying. That is the snake that this brother's talking about that was in the garden. Not the snake that you think that was speaking to you. That was speaking to you in Hebrew that you think. That's what this brother is talking about. He's talking about the deceiver. Yep. So it's like I hear.
No, what you said was heavy. That's the whole point. You know what I mean? You read Deuteronomy 28. You know what I mean? The serpent in the garden, his whole purpose was to take away your protection. Right. That's the long you know what I mean? That's the long story short right there. Go ahead, read what you got.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass
and it says, and it shall come to pass. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass if thou shalt hearken diligently.
If thou shalt hearken diligently. So these are stipulations. See, everybody, your Christian church especially, who don't know the Bible, your Catholic priests, your Muslim imams, your Kemet, all of that, they like to say that God loves everybody no matter what, right? Ain't that what we learned in Christianity?
Right, sure.
But this sounds like stipulations. This sounds like conditions. This sounds like conditional love. Go ahead and read that from the top again.
Come. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So if you listen closely to the voice of the Lord your God, go ahead.
To observe and to do all his commandments.
Now the law is done away with because that's what the Christian church says, right?
To do all his commandments.
So part of these stipulations, part of these conditions for the Lord to protect you is to what?
to do all his commandments.
Is to do all his commandments. That is part of the contract. That is part of the covenant that the Most High made with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. If we listen to the Most High God and observe and do all his commandments, go ahead.
Come. Which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high.
So if you listen, then the Most High will do what?
Set thee on high.
That's conditional love. The Christian church, they lied to you to take away your protection. That's what they did. Because if they can take away your protection, then they can feed you to the Romans, right, so that they can feed off of you. That's America. They teach you lies so that you follow the status quo of America and their laws and or you should follow, the laws. But they have you follow the status quo of what America thinks is right. America thinks you should celebrate Christmas. America thinks that you should celebrate Valentine's Day and Mother's Day, Father's Day, what is it? Thanksgiving, Halloween. That's the status quo of America. And America tries to teach you that that's okay. But the Most High said that you shall have no other God before me. The Most High said, I hate your feast days. I despise your feast days, and you should follow his feast days that he said in Leviticus 23. Go ahead.
Set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Mm-hmm. See, the reason why the Christian church has to teach you that the Most High's love is unconditional is because if you don't follow the conditions to receive the Most High's love, then you don't have his protection. And if you don't have his protection, go ahead, drop down to 15.
Gotcha. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments.
See, there's that word if again. Mm-hmm. See, our relationship with the Most High God is very conditional. Deuteronomy 28, it says, if you do this, the Most High will do this. If you keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, the Most High will do this. If you don't keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, then the Most High will do this. Or he won't do anything. And what the Most High is trying to tell you, most of all, is he's trying to protect you. His law, statutes, and commandments, it's not to oppress you. It's not to, it's not to make your life impossible.
Right.
Like, that's another lie to Christian church. Like, because the Christian church is so impractical, what's the great question of, of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? If the Most High loves us, then why would he allow us to go into slavery? Right. Why does he allow all these terrible things to happen? Why does he do this? Why does he do that? Why does this happen? What he wants to do is protect blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. This is the question. This is the answer to the great question of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Because all we want to know is why. All we want to know is why these things are happening. Salakia. Which and I don't want to go too far off topic, but there's another word you could add to your vocabulary. Yetwada. Sha'al. Sha'al means to ask. To ask, right? But if you add a wa in the middle, because wa as a tense, the four steps that you use to break down any Hebrew phrase, you add a tense, the wa in the middle, to make it sha'awal, right? Shah. Salakia. Shawwal. It turns into asking. Salakia. My brain working faster than my hands. Salakia. But you add the Y in the middle, it becomes asking. Or if you look in the English, if you translate it to English, it's Sheol, which is translated to hell. And that's the condition of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We're in hell. And in our condition in hell, or Sheol, or Shawwal, we're constantly asking. That's hell. When you're in hell, when you're in a terrible condition, you're in a position where you're constantly asking, why am I in this condition? How do I get out of this condition? Why would a God do this? If he loves us unconditionally, why? Why would we be in slavery? Why would we be poor? Why would we be homeless? Why would we be destroyed? Why is ICE hunting us down? Why are we subject to police brutality? Why are we subject to so much violence? That's hell, or Sheol, or Shawwal. When you're in hell, you're asking why you're in this condition. And Deuteronomy 28 is the answer to the great question that we all have as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Slacky, go ahead. And the question is, all we want is protection. And as the Lord's children, we're asking, why are we not protected? Slacky, go ahead.
Come. To observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses.
All these what?
Curses.
All these what?
Curses.
You're going to be asking why. The question that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans always ask is, why are we cursed? Why are Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans cursed? Why are we cursed with poverty? Why are we cursed with, having our languages split up? Why are we cursed with knowing that we'll never see our children again? And if we want the chance to even talk to our children, I think Officer Tapazar covered it earlier this week, where he was talking about those brothers and sisters that's been separated from their children by ICE. They have to work down. I think they're working down here in Texas, but they have to work 5 days a week for $1 a day to be able to earn enough to be able to make a phone call to their families that they were separated from. Yeah, so you being separated from your family, and you're like, why? You in jail for a crime you didn't commit. You know what I mean? George Stinney Jr. Was the youngest boy to be executed by I think he was 14 and he was executed. What's his name? The young brother, Emmett Till. He was executed, and that mother was constantly asking why are we being hunted? Why are we being destroyed? The answer is, we don't follow the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. That's why. And if we follow, read verse 1 again, Bob Kashaw.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently to the voice of the Lord thy God.
So the question is why? The answer is if. Go ahead.
Thou shalt hearken diligently.
So the question is, why are we destroyed? Why are we unprotected? Read that again.
If thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So you want to understand why your life is so terrible? The answer is, if you will listen to the Most High God. Go ahead.
If thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day.
Right, which I command you this day. Go ahead.
That the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Right. So that's the answer. Why are we destroyed? Why is our life so terrible in America? Well, the answer is if we hearken diligently, if we listen to the Most High God and obey His laws, statutes, and commandments, we will be set on high. We will be protected. And the reason, let's go to John 48, I believe it is. John 48 and where Caiaphas was. John, I believe it's John 48. No, you know what? It might be First John. I'm tripping. John 11, Slakia. John 11 and 48. That's what it is. John 11 and yep, that's what it is. Salakia. Start at, and this is the problem with your Christian churches, right? This is the problem with your Christian churches because you see how simple that was. The question that we constantly ask, start at verse 47. Salakia. The question that we ask is why? Because we're in hell. We're in Sha'awal. We're in Sheol. We're in hell. We're in a state where we're constantly asking why. We're constantly asking, and that's the great question that your Christian church tries to make. That Christian church right next door, the Christian church right across the street. There's a Christian church on every block of every Black, Hispanic, and Native American community, and all we want to know is why. Why are we being hunted? Why are we being deported? Why are we being separated? Why are we poor? The answer to that question is very simple. We just read it in Deuteronomy 28. If we just listen to the Most High, we just follow these commandments in this Bible, then we would be set on high and we would have the Lord's protection. But even though your Christian church claims to be the biblical authority over Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they won't teach you that. But this is what they actually teach you. Go ahead.
The book of John, chapter 11, verse 47.
Mm-hmm.
Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council.
So this is, just to give you the backdrop, this is right after Christ just raised the man from the dead. You know what I mean? I can't imagine anything greater than that.
Right.
You know what I mean? You raise a man from the dead. I believe it said, what's his name? What was his name? The brother that was raised from the dead. Lazarus. He was dead and stinking for 3 days. And Christ raised him from the dead. Christ raised him from the dead. And you would think that if a man raises a man from the dead, that everybody, you should follow him. I mean, I see a man get raised from the dead, a man laying there, and you just get up. And he get up and you follow that man. I don't know about you. You know what I mean? But this is what, you know what I mean? And that's the thing, like, when you see the miracles that the ISUPK does, you know what I mean? We're poor. I don't know about you. I'm poor. You know what I mean? Yeah, look at, you know what I mean? We're poor. We are Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who came from nothing and came together. You know what I mean? And despite all of that, despite our personal problems, we come together. We could barely feed ourselves, but we come together and we feed others. You know what I mean? We could barely keep our lights on in our own homes, but we find a way to come together and keep the lights on in this school for brothers and sisters to be able to come in and have a place of safety, to have a place of protection. We find a way, even though we're poor. And you would think that the Christian church across the street, next door, you would think that they would see the miracles that the ISUPK performs under Commander General Yohana and be like, believe on them, follow them. You know what I mean? They are the authority. We get brothers and sisters off of drugs. We get brothers and sisters to stop being alcoholics. We bring families back together. You know what I mean? The divorce rate between, you know what I mean, the blacks and Hispanics, we are trained to leave one another. I can't tell you, I don't have to tell you how many brothers and sisters grew up without fathers, without mothers. Go ahead.
You heavy. I'm slacking, sir. You heavy.
Please go
ahead. This is dumb, my little attention span. Like, just heavy what you're saying, because like we are the authority. We have things in place that what the Christian church doesn't have. Like you said, like brothers, if they're going through, they're going through marriages and marriage. We got marriage and counsel. So a lot of people in the Christian church, they just tell them, hey, go ahead and leave them. Hey, go find you another man. Go find you another woman. You know what I'm saying? And you have to go. That's because we have to go through counseling. You got to have somebody you feel free that when you go to counsel, his agenda is not for you to leave your wife so he can have them.
Right. Good night.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta have trust in a man that man is above you, that he believes in God just as well as you believe in God. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that goes on behind closed doors in them churches that you don't know, just the horrifying things that goes on. You know what I'm saying? That's why there's people getting touched. You know what I mean? Little children getting touched, and even grown women getting raped or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? By men they feel there was godly men. Mm-hmm. But that's that's over there is not. You don't have to put your trust in them. When will we black Hispanic and every man gonna wake up? Cause we've been following the same thing that our president been giving us since we was in slavery, which Christianity.
Right.
When are we gonna realize that Christianity haven't been dividing us? Like you've been saying to class, it haven't been giving us protection.
Right.
So like I yield.
No, what you're saying is so heavy, and that's the whole point. Like, when are we gonna wake up and realize that your Christian churches are destroying us? And it don't even end at the Christian church, because a lot of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we're leaving the Christian church. We're leaving the Catholic church because we see the lies. We see the child abuse and the division in the Christian church. But what you got to realize is Christianity is in you, because that's the foundation of where you grew up. You were born into Christianity. Like it says, and I believe in the book of Isaiah, where it says, is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? We were born, like King David said, I was born in sin and shaped in iniquity. We were born in this condition. We were born under America. We were born learning these destructive ideals and concepts that make us want to leave one another. You know what I mean? But you see in the ISUPK, we make sure, like the brother just said, we make sure families stay together. You know what I mean? No matter how much, how much beef you got with your wife, with your husband, we gonna make sure y'all stay together. You know what I mean? You're gonna make sure there's no fatherless homes. We're gonna make sure there's no motherless homes. We're gonna make sure that if we're not just, laying with our women and throwing them away. We're gonna make sure our sisters ain't laying with men and then leaving them. We learn how to keep families together, and that in hell, in Sheol, in Shawwal, is a miracle. That's a miracle. And you would think that seeing those miracles, where the divorce rate is so high, where I don't know a person that I grew up with in high school. Oh, please go ahead. I don't know a person that I grew up with in my childhood that had a father. Like, either you didn't have a father, or your father was very scarce. He was around sometimes. You know what I mean? And I'm sure brothers and sisters all over the world can relate to that. But here in the ISUPK, every child has a father. Every child has a mother. And you would think that these Christian churches would see that we're keeping families together in hell, where families are divided. You would think that when they see us feeding brothers and sisters in a world where we're poor, You would think that they would just leave us alone, right? But they can't leave you alone. And this is why. Because if you get the answer to the question, how do we get out of hell? If you get the simple answer, we get out of hell by keeping his commandments. This is the whole duty of man. If we get that answer, then your oppressor can't feed on you because go ahead, read my mind, sister. Why can't if you keep the law, statutes, and commandments, why can't your oppressor feed on you? Because you got it. Because you have what?
Because you are under the protection. You have the
Exactly.
protection.
God, absolutely. Most High Christ. You have the protection of the Most High God. But if you have the protection of the if you don't have the protection of the Most High God, then these other nations can feed on you. Let me read this. So this is the book of John, chapter 11. So, like I said before, this is right after Christ just raised a man from the dead. And after you raise a man from the dead, you would think a brother would just follow him. Verse 47, this book of John, chapter 11, verse 47. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we? So Christ just raised the man from the dead. And your Christian pastors are like, what are we going to do about Christ? He just raised the man from the dead. What are we going to do about Christ? That just lets you know how evil and wicked they are. Because what should you do about Christ? If Christ just raised the dead, what should you do about Christ?
Follow him.
You should follow him. That's what you should do. But they're asking, what are we going to do? And another answer, if you're not going to follow him, because not everybody is built to follow Christ. If you're not going to follow him, what you should do? What should you do?
Well, I would study because the Bible also talks about that. Many are doing miracles. I mean, Moses and dealing with Pharaoh. Moses did his thing, and then Pharaoh had people who did their thing. So, and it also speaks about I'm paraphrasing it, but examine a thing till the end, follow it till the end, and see. You have to make sure it is of the truth. You have to make sure it is of the right spirit.
Absolutely. Now, what you said was absolutely correct, but let me add another layer to it. You brought up Moses. Was there Moses? You notice Christ. Everybody said that they're a follower of Christ and that you should follow Christ, right? So if everybody should follow Christ, then who are the Pharisees?
They're just teachers of the law according to them.
We're going to find out who the Pharisees are right here. We're going to find out exactly who they are. And what you'll find out, and this goes right to your point, even in the time of Moses, there was one man, and then everybody followed that one man. Nowadays, you got that church, you got that church, you got that church, you got this fake Israelite group, you got this fake Israelite group. But the Most High established one man, even from Moses to Christ, from Abraham to even we were just talking about in the Garden of Eden, who had the Lord's protection?
Adam and Eve.
There was one man.
Adam.
There was one man that was chosen, and he had the protection of the Most High God. And everybody followed him. And if you follow the Bible all the way to Christ, all the way to from Genesis to Revelation, there was always one man. So every other man that didn't follow Christ, they had this spirit. Go ahead, read what you got.
47.
Khan, you started first. 47.
Come on, Khan. This is the book of John, chapter 11, verse 47. Then gathered the chief priests.
So Christ was the man to follow, but these are the chief priests. So if Christ was the man to follow, and Christ was the man that the Most High said to follow, and who had the Most High's protection, then who are these chief priests? Go ahead.
Verse 47. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council, and said, what do we? For this man doeth many miracles.
So they like, what are we going to do? Because he do many miracles. They weren't following Christ. And they're trying to figure out, what are we going to do about Christ? Because he does many miracles. If you don't follow Christ, you should follow Christ. But if you don't follow Christ, you should go ahead, read on.
If we let him thus alone.
If we do what?
If we let him thus alone.
If you're not going to follow Christ, what should you do?
All men.
Oh, wait. I'm asking you, sis. If you don't follow Christ, what should you do?
Leave him alone.
Give her a hand. Give her a hand. That's what you should do. Leave him alone, man, because he's doing many miracles. He's feeding people even though he's poor. He's keeping families together, even though statistically your oppressor will try to convince you that our people don't stay together. We have the most fatherless homes. We're murderers. We're unalivers. We're the criminals. But we're keeping families together in the ISUPK. That Christian church over there should leave us alone. That Christian church over there should leave us alone. But they can't because, go ahead.
Come on.
If we leave them thus alone.
If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him.
The reason why they can't leave us alone is because if they do, all men and all brothers and sisters, all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans would know where the Lord is. And they're right here in the ISUPK. The men of the Lord is right here in the ISUPK. Go ahead.
It's like it. All men will believe on him in the Romans.
And all men will believe on us. They would know where to come for refuge. If they were hungry, we would feed them. If they needed marriage counsel, we would counsel them. If they needed to know the Bible, we would teach them. They would know where to come here. And go ahead.
And the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation.
That's why they can't leave us alone. Because if they leave us alone, your oppressor is going to take away their place. They're going to take away their place. They're going to take away their authority. T.D. Jakes, he has no authority over blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He has no authority to teach you lies and put us in this condition where we're constantly asking why we're in this condition, to put us in hell, and to remove the protection of the Most High. Because if T.D. Jakes teaches you a lie that the law is done away with, that God doesn't love God loves everybody, if he teaches you a lie, then that means your oppressor can feed on you in hell. Go ahead.
You keep going back to the question that everybody is asking,
right?
And I know for myself, for years and years and years, the question has never changed, and it's still not being answered. Maybe I'm getting an understand now, but the question is from church to church to church. I say, okay, so if the poor have the gospel preached to them, why is the church the same year after year after year, generation after generation? No one seems to be prospering except your family. Why is your family the only one prospering? Your church family, and so I mean it just what's the point? What's the point of having preaching the gospel to the poor and no one is coming up? I mean, the poor is not coming up. They're still asking the same question. Why? Right.
Well, that's an excellent question. Who are the and it's a brother at the door as well, if you don't mind. Come on. Who are the poor?
The lawless is poor.
More okay.
I mean, the
Like in modern terms, right? Who are the poor in the earth? Because when I look on the news, I don't see ICE hunting down everybody. They're hunting down who?
poor,
Who or who? What?
the ones who's not. There's no protection.
They're hunting down. Okay, what nation of people? What family? Because you asked about family, right? The if the gospel is preached to the poor, then why is it that only the church family prospers, right?
Yes, when I say church family, I mean the preacher family.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. The answer to that question is because they're not teaching you. The Christian churches, they're not teaching you. They're just not. The poor are the people who are being hunted by ICE. That's the poor. Hispanics. But we don't know that we're the Lord's chosen people because we're taught that we're Hispanic. We're taught that we're so-called African American or Negroes. We're taught that we're Latinos or Hispanics. We're taught that we're Native Americans or indigenous. But we're not taught that we're the 12 tribes of Israel, which is what the Bible is about. Now, how can you teach the Bible without teaching about the family that the Bible is about? Like, I don't know how many Christian churches that you've been to. It's funny that you bring up a church family because my family in the world, they're the heads of churches in, I'm from Cincinnati. They are the heads of churches. I come from a church family. And in my entire time, you know what I mean, my entire time being connected to this family, they've never taught me about the nation of Israel. They've never taught me about the tribes of Israel: Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Ephraim, Manasseh, Reuben, Simeon, Gad, Issachar. They never taught me about these nations. They've never taught me about the family in the Bible. So when you go to TD Jake's church, the reason why TD Jake's family is rich and everybody else in the church is poor is because they're not teaching the lost sheep of the house of Israel. They're teaching what we just read in John 11. They're teaching the doctrine of our oppressor. And the reason why I'll read it again. The reason why they're wealthy is because their wealth doesn't come from the Lord. Their wealth, because the Most High, He's trying to make you a ruler over the earth, like we just read in Deuteronomy 28. They just have a little money in their pocket. The reason why that church family is wealthy is because I read it again, John 11:47. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, "What do we? For this man doeth many miracles. If we let them thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation." So where did they get their wealth from, these church families? If not from the Most High. If they didn't get it from the Most High, where did they get their wealth from, based on what we just read? You'll give it a shot? Okay. I'll read it again. Verse 48. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. You want to give it a shot now? You want me to just tell you? The reason why they're wealthy is because they get their wealth from the Romans. They don't get it from the Most High because they're not teaching the truth from the Most High. They get their wealth from the Romans. They get their protection from the Romans. So when the Romans take away their protection, who protects them? Nobody. If the Romans take away their wealth, where do they get their wealth from? They don't have anywhere to get their wealth from because their concern is the protection that they get from the Romans, from America, from Donald Trump, from Republicans and Democrats. And you get the point?
Okay, yeah, that's what I was about to say. You mean a government?
Yes, absolutely. But if you seek the protection of the Most High, then you don't need the protection of your oppressor, because your oppressor is your enemy. Your oppressor is the reason why you're poor. Your oppressor is the reason why you're asking why you're poor. It's the reason why you're asking about the condition you're in. It's the reason why ICE is hunting down blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Your oppressor is the reason. But because the Christian church serves your oppressor, they get what they think is protection from your oppressor. But the problem with that is, just as easily that they can give it to you, they can take it away. The Most High is trying to put you on high above all nations upon the face of the earth forever. And your kingdom ain't gonna be given to another nation. You get the point?
Yes.
That's the difference. And that's why you always see, like, this Christian church right here, you're gonna see, if you stick around with us for a little bit, you're gonna see that this Christian church ain't gonna be here. It's not gonna be here for the next couple years. It's not gonna be here. That Christian church is not gonna be here. Go ahead, Salakia.
It's like I don't know. I was outside. I missed, but I just heard what you're saying. Like, I know I've been in churches, and I'm a little older, but like I didn't. It's like it's a lot of topics. It's certain topics they're not gonna go into. Yeah. So you know what I mean. Like here, you ISUPK. I know since you've been in here, we don't hold our tongue. We go exactly what the scriptures say. It might sound bad, you know what I mean? It might come across like you didn't want it to come across, but that's, you know what I mean? Christ was a stern man. You know what I'm saying? So, and they want to, if the spirit is with you, you're going to be in this school. Because you don't see you come in here every day, you don't see all our chairs full. You don't see the pianist up in here. You don't see an organ up in here. You don't see anybody with their robe on, being the choir, with their what that is, tangerine. Yeah, you bang it up. Well, Lord, this brother opened his Bible and we read it what the scriptures say. And you didn't come earlier. Earlier, the brother he was saying something really heavy, semantics, word semantics, and that's what they use in the Christian church. They use word semantics and got you thinking that God loved everybody. You know what I mean? All the while, God, he only cares about about Jacob. He only cares about Israel. But they want to tell you that God loves everybody. Then you walk in the street, and soon you come out the church, you have ICE agent waiting for you. You know what I'm saying? But they supposed to say God loves everybody. You know what I'm saying? God only with you. That's the brother is saying, Deuteronomy 28 and 1. And reach the protection only if you hearken diligently to the Lord. And that's what the Christian church, they don't tell you need to hearken diligently and understand what the Lord is telling you. You know what I'm saying? Salaki, I yield, Salaki, sir.
No, what you said was absolutely heavy. And that's the difference. They teach you everything in that Christian church. They teach you everything but how to get the Lord's protection. And that's what we need. When we see I just saw footage of the ICE agents kicking in the door of a Hispanic home and just walking through it without a warrant. You know what I mean? They walking through it looking for brothers, looking for our people to arrest them. No warrant. They just coming to your door. It's like, where are the Hispanics at? They coming to look for you. Just like they hunted us as black people when the police was slave catchers. You know what I mean? They hunted us. And they hunted our brothers and sisters. Like it says in the scriptures, Israel and Judah was oppressed together. We were oppressed together. And you could tell by the way our oppressor treats us just like they treating the Hispanics right now. You know what I mean? And the reason why we're subjected to this treatment is because we done spent, like you just said at the beginning, we done spent all this time in a Christian church. But we have everything but protection. We got money. Some of us do. You know what I mean? Some Christians, you know what I mean? They got money. Some Christians got cars. You got these fancy clothes. You got jewelry. You got you know what I mean? You got all these different things. We got everything but protection. And you don't get protection outside of these laws, statutes, and commandments. And that's the difference. You know what I mean? Oh, go ahead.
Because like that's heavy what you're saying, because like Christ wasn't with their politics, because that was the Pharisees and Sadducees. That's why he was on their head, correct? Because they was all about the politics. Because they was embedded in the Rome. They was embedded in the Rome council. They was embedded in the Rome government. You know, Pharisees and Sadducees. Government. Christ wasn't all about that.
Right.
And that's why you understand, like, we don't vote. We're not into these politics. We're not trying to reach to be a congressman. We're not trying to reach to being a Republican or a Democrat. We up here trying to get a crown for the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Over you pass them, they trying to build themselves up so they can run for office. Cause they think they could change their oppressor to give them love. Right. But the oppressors ain't gonna change. You know what I'm saying? It's for us to change. It's up for us to change our mind, cleanse our mind, and be baptized by the fire where Christ wants us to be. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. Salakis. I hear Salakis.
Right. No, what you saying is so heavy, and that's the point. Like, that's the whole point. They teach you everything in that Christian church, but how to change. And you changing is how you get the protection. That's the point. You know what I mean? We all come from gruesome conditions. Like, you ask any of these brothers, we come from some conditions. We come from some crazy conditions. But it's only when we came into the truth and learned how to follow the Most High God that we could get the protection of the Most High. And we won't have to ask. I'm not confused on why we're in this condition. I don't have to ask. I don't have to ask why. Why are we poor? Why are we in this condition? Why are we destroyed? Why is this wicked person that's not even a person? You know what I mean? This wicked nation of people that's not even, like, we look at the habits of our oppressor. They don't even wash their behind. How they ruling over us? We looking like, how? Why? We constantly asking why. But not in our ISUPK. We're not wondering why. We're not wondering how. We know it's because we don't follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. And for us to get from under this evil nation of people that don't even wash their behind, they think it's a poor thing to wash their behind. I don't know if y'all know this, but they think it's a poor trait to use soap in a washcloth. Like, I don't get it. But yet they run the earth. We don't have to ask why, though, in the ISUPK. We have the answers to all the great questions that you have because we follow the law, statutes, and commandments. We have the protection of the Most High God. I hope that answers your question. I didn't mean to be so long-winded. You was about to say something.
Oh, like I say, we had, like, the law provided protection for you. Like we are looking for the wrong protection, and we are looking for the wrong love. And that's what we found short at. We trying to love someone that don't want to love us. We try our best to love to our oppressor. We do everything. We leave our kids undone. We will leave our kids in the house by themselves just to go get on this job to please the oppressor. We do everything. But we understand, but we are the, how you say that? We are the apple of the eye. How you say that?
The apple of the Most High Eye.
Yeah, the apple of the Most High Eye. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the apple of the Most High Eye. And that's all I need. Once I realize who I am, that God loves me, I don't care about nothing else. I don't need another man, a white man, to tell me who I am, that I'm this and I'm that. I'm a scum. I'm from the gutter. I don't care. Like the brother said, I know I'm here to convey to my people how to get the protection of the Most High. And that what the brother said. And that is the follow the law, statutes, and commandment of the Most High. That's how we need to hearken digitally into the Lord. And we're not doing that. We continue to hearken digitally until Pastor Bishop T.D. Jakes, Bishop Cliff O'Dollar, or Pastor Joel, I say his name?
Joel Osteen.
Jane Osteen. That's who we're, Pope John the whatever. That's what we trying to all do. But the Most High is the one we need to be listening to and hearken to the Salakia.
What you said was heavy, and it was absolutely true. The answer, you know what you're saying is true. What the answer is real simple. It's real simple, but the Christian church makes it so ambiguous and complicated because they want you to serve them. Everything that these brothers and sisters do in ISUPK, we're serving the Lord. You're not serving us. You know what I mean, I don't know what we pay the light bill. You know what I mean? We keep the lights on, and the, you know what I mean, the brothers and sisters in here, we put up even though we're poor, we put up the labor and the money and the effort to keep this place, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, under the leadership of Commander General Yohana, under the Most High God. You know what I mean? We're doing this. You know what I mean? Like, so we know we're not serving we're not, how can I put this? Your Christian church wants you to serve them. So whatever they say is the law. We follow what the Most High said. So anything we say, we're saying it because the Most High said it. Anything that they say over there, or any of these churches, they're saying it because, like Marvin Sapp, are you familiar with the incident where he locked his congregation? You think the Lord told him to do that? The Lord didn't tell him to lock those people in there. You know what that's called? Correct me if I'm wrong, that's a hostage situation. If I go to a bank and do the exact same thing that Marvin Sapp did in his church, I might not make it out that bank.
In prison.
I'm going to be, best case scenario, I'm going to be in prison if I don't lose my life. But if I go to a bank and say, close the doors, I said, close the doors. Give me $40,000 right now. Close the doors. Nobody's leaving until I get $40,000. If you take Marvin Sapp in that same situation and put him in Bank of America, he's going to jail. But for whatever reason, he can do that in the church. It's because in the church, you're not serving the Lord. You're serving Marvin Sapp. That's what happens. You know what I mean? Did you have any other questions or anything? Any Salakia, I kind of ran for a little bit. I do want to get a couple questions. I see A Hammer, man. This poor. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. I feel so sorry for A Hammer. You know what I mean? Because we poor because we live under America. We live under Donald Trump, Joe Biden. We live under the Roman, we live under the Roman captivity. We live under, another nation. A Hammer's poor, and he is the Roman nation. His people, his family is the leaders of America, and he's poor. So I feel, I know you feel like you got the authority to, to tell blacks, Hispanics, all y'all do is complain, and what do you say? I know you feel like you got the authority to say, oh my God, he said black never had it better than in America. Well, look, how does that leave? Where does that leave you? Because you saying that we never had it better than our captivity in America, but you are the orchestrator of the captivity, and you're poor. I guarantee you're doing worse than me. Go ahead, please.
So like, what's his name? Hammer.
Yeah,
Like, why don't you pick yourself up in the bootstraps?
real talk. Yeah.
Like that's why Black, Hispanic, and Native American, they are way above you. You had a 400 plus year head start, and you still can't make it in a country that belongs to you.
Mm-hmm.
You is a sorry individual.
Real talk. Okay. It don't get no straightforward than that. I mean, you are absolutely a sorry individual. Where you are the leader of the so-called free world, your family inherited wealth, 400-year head start, and you're poor in the home of the free and the land of the brave. That is the textbook definition of sorry. So, no sweat. Did you have any specific questions or anything? This is the the Lashawan or the Hebrew class, the Lashawan Qadash. Did you have any questions on or off topic or anything like that?
Thank you. um, like, I I'm glad that I came to class. I'm glad that you're teaching us everything, and I'm glad that I'm trying to make a name for myself under the school and church, and 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 I'm 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 I got a question. Is there how do we entitle ourselves as far as evangelists or of the like they got deacons, they got, how do we go about entitling ourselves?
Let me see if I can find this precept for you that might answer your question. Go to believe it's in Deuteronomy where it talks about Moses Moses Salakia. I believe can't remember if it's Deuteronomy or Exodus, where it talks about what's his name? Moses's father-in-law, and Jethro, yeah. Where he tells him to let me see if I can find it real quick. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Where is that at? I believe it's in but
Does that entitlement make us any different?
Okay, so what you're talking about is rank. That's all. It's just rank. It's rank and order, because to be able to serve the Lord, there's a hierarchy. You know what I mean, there's, like we was talking about earlier, there's one man that the Most High put in charge of the nation of Israel. So you had Moses, he was the one man, and then he had opposition. You know what I mean, he had the elders, the so-called elders of Israel, who wanted to come against him. In the times of Christ, he was the one man that was put in charge. But then you had others that came against him, like John the Baptist. And what I mean by that, like John the Baptist was supposed to decrease so that Christ can increase. He was supposed to stop doing what he was doing. So, and follow Christ. But he didn't do that. You know what I mean? You had the Pharisees and Sadducees who constantly tried to challenge Christ. But the Most High always had one man that he put in authority. And everybody was supposed to follow that one man. You know what I mean? Now, deacon and bishops, that comes from the Greek, right? So deacon just means, or bishop just means master, which is the head. You know, after Christ passed, after Christ was executed, he put Peter in charge of the church. And everybody was supposed to follow him, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? I believe the covenant was established with Abraham. And then after Abraham passed, the covenant was established with Isaac. And he was the one man. And then the covenant was established with Jacob, whose name was turned to Israel. And he had 12 sons. And they became the nation of Israel. You know what I mean? So that's how the rank comes from the Lord. The rank comes from the Lord. And the rank system that you see officers of 50, officers of, I wish I could, did you find it? Let me see if I can. I believe. Let me see if this is it. Numbers. I can't find it right now, Salakia. But that's where it comes from. It comes from, that's where it comes from. The Bible talks about captains of or officers of hundreds. You know what I mean? Which is where we get officers of 50, or officers of tens. Which is where we get officers of 50. You got officers of hundreds, which is where we get officers of 500. You know what I mean? Officers of 1,000. You got officers over thousands, which is where we get officers of 5,000, captains of 10,000, captains of 13,000. All of that comes from the Bible. You know what I mean? The rank and order that was established by the Most High. And you get that by diligence and work. You know what I mean? You just come in, you ask your questions, you learn and study you learn and study the Bible, ask your questions, do the work, and the Lord will give you, rank and responsibility. But that's where that comes from. And all of that comes from in the Bible. What you got? Yeah. Yeah, please go ahead. And this is the precept I was looking for. This is where it comes from. Go ahead.
Come. It's the book of Exodus, chapter 18, verse 17. And Moses' father-in-law said unto him, the thing that thou doest is not good. Verse 18, thou wouldst surely wear away both thou and this people that is with thee, for this thing is too heavy for thee.
Okay. So there's a scripture that says to not to be righteous over much, meaning like, be loyal and righteous over what you were given to be righteous over. But if you try to be righteous over everything, you try to be in control over everything. Like we got departments in here. Like we got the equipment department, we got the security department, we got the social media department. But if you try to oversee everything and try to control everything, you're going to get overwhelmed. You're not going to be able to, be a loyal soldier. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 18, thou wilt surely wear away
That
Oh.
will surely wear away.
Mhm.
That's what's going to happen if you try to be righteous over much. Go ahead.
Both thou and this people that is with thee, for this thing is too heavy for thee.
Go ahead.
Thou art not able to perform it thyself alone.
Right. So that's the point of compartmentalizing all of these different tasks. You got these different departments. You got different officers with different ranks. I mean, because if you try to do it all by yourself, then you're going to wear away. Go ahead.
Verse 19. Hearken now unto my voice. I will give thee counsel, and the Lord shall be with thee. Be thou for the people to go to Godward, that thou mayest bring the causes unto God. Verse 20.
So I think this came from Moses was trying to counsel, and like he was just sitting here, you know what I mean, and he had just like this big old crowd of people trying to come to him and get counsel and get, you know what I mean, their matters resolved. And he would just sit there all day and just deal with people's matters, him alone. And this is where this counsel is coming from. Like you could get a lot more accomplished if you set up captains or officers of this rank over these people. You set up officer over these people. You set up officer of these people. And that's why if you look all over, like commander, you hear us all the time. We're the ISUPK under Commanding General Yahana. You hear us say that all the time. But, you know what I mean? We got zones everywhere. We got Commanding General Yahana is the head of the school. But we got a school in Philly with a captain over that zone. We got a school in New York with a captain over that zone. We have a school in Boston with a captain over that zone, so on and so forth. We got a school in Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Texas. You know what I mean? We got several schools over Texas or in Texas, and with a captain over the zone. And then in those zones, we have camp leaders. So, and all of that rank is that all of that comes from the Lord. You know what I mean? So what you should do is just focus on, you know what I mean? The first thing, just focus on just learning what was taken away from us, learning our culture, learning, you know what I mean, the Bible, coming to class, asking questions, just focus on that. And then everything else, the rank, you know what I mean, all of that will come. But first, you just focus on learning and understanding, you know what I mean, our culture in the Bible. Does that make sense? Okay. You had any what time is it? Is it I can probably take one more question. Let me see what we do. You have any more questions or anything like that? Or sister? Do you have any? Okay, no sweat. What you got, brother?
Like, how do we memorialize, like say, like in like we like you know how like the city got every city got hoods,
Yeah,
and subsections. Like how you go about on like owning boulevards and so and perpetuating just like a memorial.
When you say memorial, what do you mean?
Like, say if you were to resonate a statue
I think I might understand your question. This is not the place for us to like have to build like a when I say this ain't the place, I mean America. Like this ain't the place for us to try to like you see in every hood there's a Martin Luther King Boulevard. There's a um what's the common but Martin Luther King Boulevard is the most common one. You go to New York, you go to California, you go to Cincinnati, you know what I mean? You go to wherever you go, there's a Martin Luther King Boulevard. You know what I mean? This ain't a place for that because this isn't our kingdom. Our kingdom comes after this kingdom falls. And
Well, wouldn't that be important if to seek his judgment?
say that again?
To seek judgment from
Absolutely. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point. For us to have a kingdom, for us to have any memorial, for us to have a kingdom, for us to have a kingdom here, this place has to fall. And we don't make it fall by, kicking in, you know what I mean, kicking in doors and kicking, burning down establishments and protesting, marching in the streets, no justice, no peace. That's not how we're going to tear down this kingdom, by physical violence. We're not going to tear down this kingdom by joining the police force, joining the military, you know what I mean, joining the judicial system. We're not going to tear down this kingdom by voting. We're going to tear down this kingdom by following our law, statutes, and commandments and teaching Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who they are according to the Bible. And once we learn who we are, we'll learn to separate from our oppressor's kingdom. And the Most High is going to make Babylon fall, which is here. And then we'll be able to build up the kingdom of heaven, which is a kingdom for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, a new government. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's how we're going to do it. All right?
Thank you.
Hey, no sweat, brother. With that, we're gonna go ahead, close it right there. Let me see. Any questions? I'll try to, I'll try to pick them up next week. Their next class, I'll try to start at the top of the class and pick up brothers' and sisters' questions. With that, we're gonna yeah, please. With that, we're gonna pass the class over to Precinct Officer 500 Yawash with the security announcements.
This is ISUPK security announcements. The ISUPK started on 1 West 125th Street out of Harlem, New York. Rule for the new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister come into the school, they are off limit for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves from the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an entrance or a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is the commandments. Numbers 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, 8 through 10. Mean tenths in Hebrew, ma'asherah. 10% of every penny of any increase the law gives you. Give to the treasury department or a teacher. Priest funds. Free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. We have Purim coming on the 14th day and the 15th day of the 12th month. Monday the 2nd of March and Tuesday the 3rd of March of 2026. You can find this in Esther chapter 9, verse 20 through 31. We also got the upcoming, you got the Passover is the 14th day of the first month. You have it on Saturday, April the 4th, 2026. You can find this in Exodus chapter 12, 1 through 51. You can find this in Leviticus chapter 23, 4 through 5. And you can find this in 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7 through 8. And you can find this in 2 Chronicles chapter 30 and verse 17. Reminder, Akim and Akwad to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to become a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black boots, shirts, pants, and headband and scarf. This concludes the ISUPK security announcements.
All right, Most High Christ. With that, we're going to say Imadium, which means to stand. We'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Individual Amadja Shabbat, Imadium, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Barakatah. What we just said was the Most High, in the name of Christ, bless you. All right. Yad Yamata, which means hands down. Sar, which means turn. We're going to turn and face the sisters and give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Sisters, Imadium, which means to stand. Individual Amadja Shabbat, Imadium, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Alatan Ba Shem Yahweh Shamar Alata Ba Hashem Yahweh Shah. And what we just said was Lord, or the Most High, watch over you in the name of Christ. That's what we did. That's what we just said. All right. Yad Yamata, which means hands down. Dismiss.
Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The ISUPK, under Commanding General Yahana, presents the Lord's 57th Annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th Annual Passover, April 4th, 2026, in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person, ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under Commanding General Yahana. See you there, Israel. Shalom.
Nobody else there to compare to. Train for war, men of war, and warlike apparel. Prefer our leaders, can't get between us. Watch where you stepping.